I'm actually very lucky because I'm sitting here with our next speaker. He's right in front of me, okay? But he's going to be coming to us also through his computer. And I feel very, very grateful to have him here. Rabbi Moshe Mordechai Yosef Ben Avram. He's an Orthodox rabbi currently living in Jerusalem. I have to tell you, has a heart of gold, and his wife also has a heart of gold. And I get the pleasure to have them both here in my home. He's originally from Los Angeles, California, and he was working as an entertainment executive at Warner Brothers, producing music, film, and television. Rabbi Mordechai Yosef has had the privilege of learning in the most prestigious yeshivot in Israel, with an emphasis on Talmudic law. And Rabbi Mordechai, as a lecturer, has given thousands of presentations. I've had the opportunity to hear him several times, and he's given thousands of presentations on Jewish ethics and morality, inspiring audiences of all backgrounds and denominations. I want to encourage all of you to check out his incredible, inspiring book called Mind of the Black Jew, the oldest new way of thinking. It's currently available on Amazon, and I'll be putting the link here in the chat in just a moment. So without further ado, I give you Rabbi Mordechai Yosef Ben Avram. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to thank the Netila organization and Orly and our whole team for putting this together. And I've been watching them for a while, so it's like, for me, it's like such an honor just to like be a part of it and to be a part of something that's so great. And they have an amazing campaign with this Netila Yadayim Cup, and we're going to talk about that as we go on. But I just wanted to just express appreciation for being a part of this. So when I first heard about this event, you know, I saw the title and it was Netila Yadayim, like Netila, and then Hanukkah. And it was really, you know, for me, it was just like, whoa, like what an amazing theme, because, you know, my journey to become the person I am was like, it's a big, you know, it's a big story, because I didn't grow up Jewish. You know, Jewish is something that, you know, over a series of experiences, you know, I had in my life, and it led me to Judaism, led me to the Torah, led me through the mitzvot, and so it's this big process. But once I was at a place in my life, and I'm saving a lot of time right now, but once I was at a place in my life where I was like, you know what, this is the path for me, this is what I want to do, the first bracha that I knew was Netilat Yadayim. And I just remember, like, every morning I would wake up and I was so excited to say Netilat Yadayim, because like for me, it was just like, I couldn't really speak Hebrew. You know, everything was kind of like ambiguous. I knew a lot of spiritual ideas because part of my journey started off at the Kabbalah Center in Los Angeles. So I knew a lot of spiritual ideas, but I couldn't read Hebrew, these types of things. And so Netilat Yadayim, for some reason, that bracha was like the first bracha that like really was like a big thing for me, you know? And so the merit of doing any bracha is something to be recognized, you know, but, you know, I remember, like, you know, you look at my life now, right? And I've learned a lot of Torah. I've been in yeshiva for the last 7 years. You know, I've written books, you know, I've been speaking, all these different types of things. But all that potential existed inside of me before I converted, right? And so that potential could have never manifest, right? It could have just been something that just happened, something that I was born with, but you know what? You know what? It didn't happen in this lifetime. So for me, when I was doing Netilat Yadayim, it was like all of this energy that propelled me to do the things that I've done in my life was behind that, right? And so when we think about that merit of that bracha, like when we wake up in the morning and we have this ability to literally cleanse ourselves on this deep spiritual level, it's just like, you know, being, you know, a person who converted, like for me, it was like a mikvah, you know what I mean? It was like a mikvah every single morning. And it was like, I had so much appreciation for it. Like it changed my whole day. Later on, it came to Netilat Yadayim, and then it, you know, eventually wrapping tefillin and, you know, davening shachris and these different things. But in these progressional stages of connection to the life force of Hashem, for me, Netilat Yadayim was such a beginning. But the thing is, when you think about that idea of, going through life and traveling and going through different experiences, and your relationship with God grows and it evolves and it changes, you think about those moments where it's dark, and you think about those moments where, like, on my path to become Jewish, it was like, there wasn't a cheerleading team around, like saying, like, you're doing the right thing, go and do it. There wasn't like, the Nassim Blacks of the world and all these other different types of like amazing people that we have now, that are, people of color or people who are even Gerim. I mean, because, like, how many people do we know that are actually talking about them being Gerim, And so when you go on that path, there's nothing there, and it's dark. And you wonder, like, well, what is this about, this experience and this whole process that just keeps pulling me further and further and further? And it's against everything around me that makes sense, right? Like, my motivation should be like, oh, well, let's make more money, or let's do more deals, or, let's, adventure into some weird pleasure-based, spiritual philosophy. But here I am wanting to be closer to the Torah, being closer to the mitzvot, being closer to more restrictions, more limitations, seemingly, but like, that's what we're going after. So how do I get to that place? What's going on? What is this process, and how am I okay with it? How am I okay with going through this process of concealment? This process of, there's no cheerleading team. There's a process of no one is there saying, like, you're doing the right thing, but in your heart, you know that you're doing the right thing. And as you go further, there's more pleasure, there's more connection, right? But no one else in the world around you is agreeing with you. So what is that power? What is that connection? What is that strength that we could draw from that journey? And I would say that's Hanukkah, right? Hanukkah is all about this idea of the concealed light, knowing this ultimate truth, regardless of what anyone else thinks about it, and wanting to defend that truth, right? That's what the Maccabees are teaching us. It's like, it's defending this truth, even if people that even if there's people who are your enemies and they all gang up together against you, that you never, limit yourself. You never take away from yourself. And you have your virtues and you have your values, and you're willing to risk your entire life for that. And that's what it is, going on this path of being a person who came into the Jewish world. It's like, you're just like, okay, you know what, this is truth, and I can't explain it, and I can't go to the university for anyone to tell me I'm doing the right thing. I can't go to my parents or my cousins or my relatives or people I grew up with and say, hey, you know what, look at this amazing truth that I found. And they're going to be like, wow, you're so lucky you found this truth. There's no committee like that. But something gravitates you and gives you a strength and a power on your own to continue on. And that's Hanukkah, right? That's the idea of Hanukkah, the idea of saying that there's a light that Hashem is bringing into the world that is allowing me to gravitate to my ultimate potential, to express the person that I truly am. And I'm going to continue on. And I'm going to continue on, and maybe no one around me agrees and no one around me understands this journey, but I'm going to be true to myself, and I'm going to go further. One other idea I want to bring about this concept of Hanukkah and this idea of purification is this idea of purification of thought, right? This idea of being able to say that, you know what, maybe there's aspects of darkness, of choshek inside of my makshava, my mind, my thinking, because of different experiences that I have to deal with in the world without a Beis Hamikdash. But there is an antidote to clear away that darkness, to clear away those limitations. And it's this idea of light. So when you look at the concept of the idea of the menorah, you think about the idea of lighting the menorah, and as the amazing rabbi, and I wanted to say it's such an amazing honor just to even be on the same stage as Rabbi Dior. Like, he's an amazing person. He's inspired so many people. And when you look at the vast world of people that make tshuva and come back to the world, you need to have all different types of personalities. You need to have people who are more strict, and some people who are more neutral, and people in the middle, and some people from this background and that background. We need everybody to bring back all of Am Israel. And so he plays his role just as much as, you know, everyone else. And so for me, just being a guy who was in yeshiva and got into a smicha program and life has progressed and became a rabbi, you know, for me, like just being on the same conversation is like such an honor, and I'm so thankful. But I wanted to say, like, the revolution around the Hanukkah and the lights and everything connected to that is like when you light a candle on during Hanukkah, right? Sometimes you're lighting 3 candles, sometimes more, 8, 9, whatever, right? So the idea is to say that when you light a candle, that original light never diminishes, right? And so when we think about the world as it is right now, everyone's out for themselves. You know, when you think about the beauty of being a Jew, is that our system, the basis of our system, the shorest of our system, is transforming us into people of sharing, into people of giving. That's the shorsh of everything. The halacha, everything it is to take us out of our, like I heard a Rav say, like, you know, the halacha is made in lieu of deficiency. So wherever we're deficient at, there's a halacha that brings us out of that deficiency. But it's ultimately making us into people, entities, human beings of sharing, of giving, of going against gravity, going against our limitations. And so that aspect makes us a light to the nations. It makes us unique to the rest of the world, that we are like actually entities and we're sharing and we're giving and we're transforming ourselves by, that's our relationship with God. But our job is to show the rest of the world that that's what their role should be as well. Like in Judaism, we don't urge people to convert, not because we don't think what we have is amazing, but it's more from the acknowledgement that what they have is also amazing, right? Everybody is amazing. Everybody has a unique contribution. Our job as Jews is to bring the correct system that goes all the way back to Adam, the correct system on how to express that in everyday life, right? Because we have our sages, we have our Masurah, and we have our halakha, Baruch Hashem, and so we're there to help all the other nations be able to understand their potential, to understand that they're under the reshus, under the guidance of Abraham Avinu, and they have malachim that are there, you know, intermediating between them and Hashem. But Jewish people, we don't. We're directly with Hashem. But the point is just saying that our job is to elevate them and then let them know that, so they don't need to become Jewish to go into a great place in the next world or to experience amazingness in this lifetime. But our job is to help them understand that. And so the light of Hanukkah and lighting the menorah and that candle to the next candle to the next candle and onward is our declaration to the world, is saying by being a sharer, by being a giver, by doing the things that God asks us to do, you become a light that sustains itself. You never lose out on anything. You are now part of the creative process for humanity. And this is the new revolution of thought that we need to have in the world. That people say, like, no, it's only through sharing, it's only through giving and lighting other lights that we have a chance to experience a world of holiness, a world of connection, a world of clarity, right? Only through that dynamic. And so when we're lighting our menorah, that's the kavana. The kavana is like, this light that I'm lighting never deceases, but is sharing to everything. And so that's the revolutionary aspect of light. And so I would say, like, in closing, to open up for if there's any questions, you know, the journey that, you know, I've been on spiritually has been a process of tremendous revealment and tremendous concealment, right? And one of the things I recently learned reading, Rabbi Hirsch wrote a book called Horeb. Rabbi Samson Raphael Hirsch, he wrote this book, and so he talks about the effects of the seasons and how the seasons are explaining something to us spiritually. So, you know, a couple months ago, we were in the month of Tishri, right, where there's all these holidays and there's all these different connections. It's like Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, you know, Shavuot, you know, Simchat Torah, all these different things. I mean, Sukkot, Simchat Torah, the whole thing. So that time, if you look at how the sun's relationship to the earth is, the sun is very close to the earth, where it's very hot, the days are longer, there's harvesting, the crops are growing, everything's growing out of the ground. And then we progress, and that's the time where all holidays are. And then we progress to the next month, which there's no holidays, which is Cheshvan, right? There's no holidays during that month. And then we progress on, and then now we're in this process of Hanukkah, right? And Hanukkah is about this idea of concealed light. But during this time, this is the sun after Tishri starts to separate from the sun. I mean, separate from the earth, right? So it goes further and further away. We have shorter days. There's less light and it's much colder, right? So we're in a time of concealment. So this time of Hanukkah is really illuminating and declaring this time of concealment. But the thing about concealment is that when all the harvesting was happening, there's many seeds that fell into the ground, right? And they fell into the ground and they went underground. So right now, everything is concealment. And then we get to Purim, which is, a few months away. And Purim is the transition between the winter of the darkness where the earth is far away to part of this progression back towards the earth, which leads us to the spring. And so that's the dynamic between Haman and Mordechai. Haman represents the coldness, the concealment of the winter, and Mordechai represents the transformation of the seed and the growth of the seed going into the spring. So what's the point over here? The point is over here is that Hashem, the creator of the universe, wants us to look at this time and see where is our connection to him during times of concealment. When things don't go our way, when things don't happen the way that we want it to, when things go a little bit different, or it doesn't seem like what we've been working for is going to manifest, what is our relationship with Hashem? Where's that relationship right now during times of concealment? The sages are teaching us by lighting the menorah that during this time of concealment, we light the light. We light the light. We light the light right now, and we change our perception of the goodness that God is giving us. Because even during the darkness, Hashem is giving us good. Just in the times of revealment, in the same times of concealment. Everything from Hashem is good. So when we have moments what we call darkness, and we don't see that light, and we don't make that connection, the responsibility is on us. Hashem has already said he's here as a Rahmanas for us to achieve our correction in this lifetime. So I'm just closing off with this idea of saying that let's be not just religious, let's be revolutionary during this year on Hanukkah, and let's imagine a new world where everyone is sharers and everyone is givers, and people don't feel that by giving they're losing out, but actually they're maintaining and they're moving forward. That's